we had someone who is supreme, who came and told us what's for his benefit. So he'll tell us, perhaps if you came to and ask him, he would tell you, no thanks, I don't see that actually as something good or something supreme. To get a good coupling, zivug. Well, this is a good thing to pray, but this is trivial. This is something that everyone wants, like health or good children. Okay, one more thing. I dreamed a lot after the night of the last lesson about you, about the lesson, about the dreams, about... Oh, the nitak. And I could, during the dream, I could always wake up and say, so today listen carefully to the lesson, because today we'll learn about control about the dream, so you could also, so it won't be vague, that you can actually do what you want to do in the dream. Okay, a little bit more questions so we can advance. My partner and I started having pain in the shoulder exactly at the same time. Is that also related to writing this frequency, what you spoke of? It could be. Many times things happen that if people are very close and one... We need to see more signs. Like people who dealt with astrological maps, they know that it's not enough to know the horoscope. He needs to know the horizon, what time he was born, what constellations are at what point. It's a full map. We can't just say one point, and if it's that one point, that's the way it is. It will be a little bit amateur. We can give one initial sign, but there are many other signs we need to look at. Please. This week I dreamed 2 dreams, and in both of them I asked myself, am I dreaming? And I understood that I'm not dreaming. So when I woke up, I realized, and there was a time when I thought, I asked myself whether I was dreaming, and then לא הבנתי מה רוצה שם. We'll see. Okay, man, wow, that was crazy. חלמה בתוך חלמו ולא הבינה לי חלמה שירה. לא הבנתי מה אמרה בעברית, אחי. זה נשמע טוב אבל. ים, please. Rav, what would help the most to believe that you really will dream? To believe that you will dream? Because you don't dream? You don't really believe that you are dreaming because you don't remember the dream. Oh, I see. Believe other people who say that there is a dream. Do you believe me to what I'm saying, or do you think I'm lying? I believe you, but it's not called real faith on my own part. You mean that you need to be more internalized within you, so you can feel it stronger. What I recommend you is that you are actually looking for a notion that comes from an experience and not from... You're asking a notion that comes from experience and not from what someone else said. So I recommend you to do all the exercises required in order to reach this experience. For example, try to do what we said today about the dream. Listen carefully to what we're going to speak of, and perhaps it will help you to dream. I remember you. Is it realistic that a person will enter a conscious of someone else? I'm not really sure how to say it, like the Rav said before, without him noticing, and then he will know the things that, yes, it is possible. We enter this to the space of the other, and sometimes we don't control it, and we feel what other people feel. Sometimes we're hurt of what other people are hurt, and sometimes we enter a frequency of a cat that died, and we actually start suffering of this pain, and sometimes we can protect ourselves. ourselves from the invasion of other things, but we're all in one system. We love each other. We just not always know that or remember that, but we are in a common frequency, that each one took different things, but we can come to these common places, please. It's not. Regarding the topic that we call, when we read the portion of the week, the parasha, and we have feelings that what happens in the parasha is what happens in reality. And it repeats itself many a times. Is this related? It's true. That's exactly what's happening. What's happening in the parasha is what's happening. And if that's the way you see it, this is great. Now you have to see not only if it happens or not, rather, what do I do with it in order to perfect myself as a person? And this is the idea. Not only for us to perceive reality, but rather to also see what is it we're going to do with it. Now you have to ask yourself, what are the challenges that you're facing as a person, and to see how to use what you saw, what the parasha told you about life, in order to advance yourself. Because we don't only learn in order to know what's outside of us. We learn in order to know how to advance ourselves. So let us advance. Move forward. Move forward. It is written that in the previous lesson you needed to create an environment of a dream in order to exit. You have to use a very rich imagination in order to create this environment. And we want, actually, in order to start dreaming, we want to take over the dream, and we have 5 stages we have to create before we enter the dream. Everyone now should write each one of these 5 stages, and we'll try to practice them. The first phase, or the first stage, is a goal. A person needs to define to himself a very clear goal that he wants to dream in the dream. Tell yourself what it is you want to dream. Don't wait for the dream to come. Decide, today I want to dream of a certain thing, on a certain thing, or about a certain thing. If the goal you want to reach is something abstract, like I want to be a loving person, that's not enough. I want to love Reuven. I want to love my son, Yecheskel. Everyone should define. And we have to take very simple goals at first. What type of goals? For example, I want to be an organized person. I want to be organized in my bedroom. Could also be the drawer in my bedroom. Or I want to arrange my relationship with my wife when we argue about the education of our child, Reuven, who has no boundaries, and we always fight about him. I say he should be relaxed, and she says, why don't you put boundaries? Or vice versa. And that's what we fight, and that's what I want to dream in the dream. So, meaning I'm trying to give you examples of goals. Like, for example, I want to be more focused. For example, when I sit and study, and I need to prepare homework, I see that I'm kind of I'm not focused. I go to make a phone call, or just call a friend, or suddenly my stomach hurts, and I need to speak with my sister, and so on. Wait, I want to be focused in the time that I prepare my homework. Therefore, what other things that for example, I want to, I want to dream about how to fix my eating disorders. I want to be happy in my friend's wedding. there's a wedding next week, and I'm a person that is not really happy in weddings, but I want to be happy because I want to make him happy. And I know that I don't know how to be happy in weddings. I always come frozen. I don't know what to want. A very held back person. Don't know how to dance. Don't know what to do. What am I going to do? But I want to be happy. So all these, for example, are types of goals. So I said, if you please tell me a few goals that you want to build in your dream, and this is the first stage that you need to build before you go to sleep. You have to establish a goal, what it is I want to dream of. And is that exactly what you're going to dream of? Not always, but the more you'll be able to take over the dream, you'll be able to do it more. It might actually appear in a total different way, but at least you'll be in the right direction, because the dream has to do many things that we went through during the day, but only that were in the subconscious. And the entire goal of this course is to turn us to people who actually hold the reins of the horse. We want to hold the reins, and not to be the actual horses who run and we don't know where. We want to hold the reins of life and the reins of the dream. And the first thing is that we have to establish a goal. What? A goal. What goal? What goal do you have in your dream? You have a goal to have a goal. This is too abstract. You have to focus it. If you're not going to focus it, it's going to be too abstract. To wake up early. On what day? You'll see that when a person is very focused, many times we'll wake up and we say, what time is it? 7 and 12 minutes. How did I know that? 7 and 12 minutes. I hope people don't wake up so late. But let's say 7 and 12 minutes. Goal, yes. Only please use a microphone. My goal is to build a writing workshop. What type of writing? Therapeutic writing.
Okay.
So that's your goal. Well, you told me to restrict it, so is that okay? Well, you have to see how many people, where you're going to conduct it, but it's a good enough a goal, and you have to see what exactly it means for you, therapeutic writing, and you have to focus on that. More examples? You actually said that once there is a goal, we have to dream of it in order to know how to exercise it later or perform it later. Yeah. Why do we actually need to first work on the subconscious, not the actual practical thing, so it will help you on the subconscious? You can also work through the conscious and then the subconscious. It's like you're walking opposite. I'm not walking opposite, I'm walking both ways. I know the subconscious affects me a lot, and most of my decisions come from the subconscious, so where I can affect myself through the subconscious, like in a dream, that I go to sleep anyway, and I know that it's a very strong effect, so where I can work through my subconscious, I'd rather do that, because it's a place which is closer to the root of my decisions. Where I can't, then I work through the conscious part, and then through the conscious part I try to affect my subconscious, which I dilute with many experiences that I have from my conscious part. So, if you're a little different person, you'll be able to... I think that I'm not tricking my mind. I think my mind has tricked me so far, and I'm lying to the liar, because I'm a relaxed person, I'm a stable person, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a fantastic person, but this liar within me comes and lies to me, and he tells me you're not a good enough person, you only think about yourself, you're held back. No, not at all. I'm 100, 10, Esel. And I want to lie to the liar. In the subconscious, we have a part which is true and real, and I want to connect to it. So everyone needs to choose a goal for the dream. Since I'm here in the course, I'm dreaming many dreams. And it's been half a year that I've been looking for what it is I want to go and study, and I was asking for some guidance. And suddenly, the dream, it came to me that I'm a concubine. מיילדת, שכחתי פתאום. midwife, שכחתי, כן. וואו, זו מילה עתיקה, midwife. רגע, זה ניתק שם. So you can create a question, a dream query. Once the Holy Ari fell asleep in Shabbat afternoon, and one of the sages came and he saw that his lips are actually moving and speaking. So he tried to listen, and the Holy Ari woke up and he asked him, what did the rabbi say in the dream? What did he dream of? He said, even if I'll try to tell you what I dreamed of for 80 years, I won't have enough time to tell you that. Sometimes in the dream we see things spiritually that are much more lofty and supreme than what we can meet in the regular reality. So are we always going to have true answers? Because perhaps you don't have to be a midwife like you dreamed, and perhaps on the way down you've been lied to, and perhaps you need to be a dancer and you were told something else. How do we know that? So we'll have to purify the dream, and you'll see now what type of protections we can create. But the first thing is a goal. For example, you can say, I have a goal to dream about the occupation I want to work in. The second phase is a story. A story. Meaning I need to build myself some type of a story. It's hard for me to remember if I don't have some kind of a narrative. I want to, for example, dream that I'm a soccer player. When I was young, I wanted to dream that I'm a soccer player. I was a little, but I would dream about it. And many times I wanted to dream that I'm dreaming about breakthroughs that will be fantastic, not normal. So I would dream about soccer and also about things which were very lofty that I did, but I didn't know how to direct it. So I would prepare when I wanted to, and I wanted to be happy in the dream. So people dream. For example, people want to dream that they want to become rich. So build yourself a narrative for the dream, but don't just dream. For example, if you want the drawer on the right side in your drawer will be organized, then you have to build the dream in a way that it will happen. So you have to plan the entire narrative. It's not just that I organize it. I come home, I come to arrange it. Whoever read the book by Katz, The Secret of the Correct Order of Memory. For example, if I tell you elephant, hand, foot, you should tell a story. And once you tell a story about that, it's more realistic. And then you remember more than technical things. And the same thing. I want my subconscious to remember the dream. Therefore, I need to tell myself a story. We want to control, to dominate, to command the dream by having a story about this dream. So, for example, she told me the story that she wants her brother or uncle will have a good relationship, no matter who. So if that's what she dreams of, then she needs to think what happens. She needs to think about a story. Here, they came home, and the woman came back from work, and she's all frustrated, and then he came and supported her, and he fed her, and they were very happy, and she felt that her husband supported her, and they went out to some coffee shop, and he prepared some surprise for her, and a story. We need to tell the story. Why? What's promising us that the story will not change? The story can change. I'm telling a story, and suddenly the entire story can change. It will be a total different story. But the story, well, first of all, I have a goal. And the goal, because it's abstract, I turned it to be practical. And it also contains the abstract thing. Afterwards, I built a story, some narrative, with which I move forward. And I need means that will help me to not deviate from the story of the dream. Therefore, I need persistence or perseverance. I need persistence. I need to repeat this dream a few times. If we succeed, we usually do not continue with the same dream. We expand it or perfect it. If there are disturbances to dream the same thing, we need to remove the disturbances. How to remove the disturbances? We need to prepare an environment. Not just the story, but we need an environment, a surrounding that will allow us to come ready for the dream. You can create a surrounding in the dream, even if it's an imaginary surrounding. You can prepare an environment with your imagination, and the more imaginary you are, you can prepare a better surrounding, so you'll come ready. Each one of us knows that when he comes to a place where more ready or prepared, he has less obstacles, and he knows better what to do. Therefore, what did we see up to now? We saw a goal. Help me. What did we see? A goal, a story, a narrative, persistence or perseverance, and a surrounding. Let's see a short clip. Whoever saw the first, who saw the movie, the beginning? Or the commencement. Oh, לא, איך זה נקרא? איך נקרא הסרט הזה?
לקראת השיעור הבא, אם תוכלו לראות...
נו, איך זה נקרא הסרט הזה? נו.
לא, בכלל...
שכחתי את השם. Conception, לא conception.
לייזר אומר שכן, זה ממש לא בעיה, והוא לא רואה את זה כדבר גדול.
ההתחלה זה ככה.
יש גם לכם לינק, כי זה מופיע בהרבה מאוד אתרים. ההתחלה. כן. כן.
Inception זה נקרא, זהו, Inception.
אני מכיר את הדברים האלה.
Inception זה השם של הסרט, כן, ראיתי אותו.
מה? עכשיו בואו נראה עכשיו סרטון קצר, ונתייחס על סרטון של 2 דקות. נראה אותו. אני רואה אותו פה, אני מקליט. כן. אוקיי.
That's when we're away. Where I the world we bring the aquatic in them, right? That we realize something. Going on.
I guess.
So about it, Eddie.
We're dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in shared dreaming. Stay calm.
ההתחלה.
The movie, The Inception.
אז אנחנו צריכים להכין סביבה מראש, ואם קורה
So we need to prepare a surrounding in advance. לא, זה ניתק עוד פעם. למה אצלו יש קטיעות כאלה אבל? למה אצלו יש קטיעות כאלה? זה מה שיוצא החוצה, לא? If we'll create some series where we'll see this entire movie and an explanation of what's happening within the movie, we're talking about the movie Inception, and perhaps we'll we'll show the movie with the interpretation of all the dreams, so we'll have something structured, how to see a dream, what is a dream within a dream, and so on. But we've reached a place which is known in advance. Reaching a place which is known in advance neutralizes the means of it means that it neutralizes the running away, because in our subconscious we have many details. No, doesn't he talk? Suddenly other things come to you naturally because you have other things in your subconscious. You didn't cover your entire subconscious. It's like now you go to prepare homework. Many things come to your subconscious. You feel like hearing music, you feel like going to friends, many things. But what's going to cause you to have this thing interrupt you less? If you know exactly, clearly, what it is that you're studying, how much time you study, what book you study, what the question... No, let's say I have 5 books to study for the exam, so I have to arrange in advance. I have such and such questions every day, and you leave yourself 2 days for a review, and you know that this day I have to learn this and this, so it's easier for you to approach it. The same thing. If you are organized in the dream and the place is organized, so even if things come from the subconscious, it's easier for you to remove them because you have something prepared and organized. Granted, the place needs to be planned according to the goal that you want to achieve, according to your goal. If we want, for example, to reach something in the study, or achieve something in the study, then the surrounding should be a place which is not noisy, like a library. It's not a punishment for you. Or dream of a quiet place and not a disco. Because if you really like to dream and you're going to dream about, if you really like to dance and you're going to dream about a disco, I've never been in a disco, but they say that it's a noisy place. To dream? No, I prefer dreaming about other things. And again, I'm repeating. Again, I repeat, we took all the dreams to a different direction, to a direction of use and not fantasy or to know what the future is. That's not where we go in life. We don't only want to understand reality, we also want to use it for our goals. Therefore, we establish a goal, we determine a surrounding which is stimulating for our goal. Granted, it needs to be detailed, including things that we're not going to use. For example, if I enter the room, I need to see what pictures there are. what cars passed by, what knob the door had, and so on. The more details I'll have from around, and I know them, to that extent, less things will interrupt me. We will implant memories in the surrounding, things that remind us of the goal. If I implant a memory, that means I implant things that help me not to get confused. No, זה ניתק.
את מקום העמידה של המורה,
the picture on the wall, and then I'll tell myself, when I see this picture, then I know that it reminds me, for example, there's a ball in the picture, so it will remind me that I'm not allowed to roll like a ball. Doesn't matter, it's just a sign. Meaning I need to create signs within the dream that if I see them, they'll remind me all sort of things. Therefore, I need, through these signs, to remind myself things. And these signs, they work on us associatively, very strongly. And when we work with them, then we can truly be focused in the dream. That's how we do in hallucinations. That's the nitak. This was the fourth stage, that we build an environment, a surrounding. You should know that this topic is not developed enough around the world, this use of dreams. Every time that I pass this course, I think perhaps we should actually invest to do some full wisdom of it, because there are many things that are not developed, and I cannot do it by myself. But let me talk now. And when you try it and you go through experiences, we'll be able to develop that more in the world. And we need to develop these things, because these are things that we don't touch them enough. And when we touch them only in private uses, which are not lofty. How do people usually dream? He has some cravings, this or others, and he dreams about them in order to feel better. And the dream actually operates on us, so why not use it? Remember the first lesson that we said, that, like the Gaon from Vilna says, the genius from Vilna, that there is a strength in the subconscious that we should use. If we take the example of organizing or arranging the drawer in the bedroom, and we'll go down to details and we'll put signs that we'll be able to dream it. How does it actually... They will be more organized. That it will actually happen. They will actually be more organized. I want to achieve the abstract thing, because then I'll be able to do other things, not just the drawer. Because after all, what is it I want to correct? Not the external thing. I want to correct my soul, that it will act differently. Most things that we see externally are not the actual thing. If a person always gets fatter, the problem is not that he's fat. The problem is that there's something in his soul that doesn't work correctly. And this thing needs to be correctly. It will work also on the obesity and also on other things. But the story should not be too long. Only up to 4 lines, right? Why? Because then the details could mix and it will be less meaningful and significant for you. Well, it depends. In the dream, you can dream in a short time a lot. In 5 minutes, you can dream things that into details. And you can dream things, and you dreamt it only in 3 minutes details of 3 days. You don't remember all of them, but it's not good to have too much, but it's good to have something reasonable so we'll cover the entire event. Because you don't have a story long enough, what happens in the dream, you come to the edge, and then you see that it repeats itself, and then it's a little different, and then you wake up, and then you dream it again, and then you reach the same place in the dream, and then you reach the same place, and then you understand that you are dreaming very narrowly, like you live life very narrowly. Same thing, people dream narrow dreams, and people who deal with dreams a little, they know that you need to expand the dream a little bit and to flow with it to other places. Wow, so up to 4 lines more or less? No. It could be much more, it could be a full story on a full page. The 5th phase, we said 4 phases. The phases we said are goal, story, persistence, and environment. A goal, a narrative, persistence, and a surrounding. And the next thing is craving. I need to have the desire for the thing I want. You need to depict in your imagination, so you'll have the desire. In order to have the desire, you need to depict that place from which you'll receive this thing you want. Make this thing simple to be given. If you want to be organized or beautiful or wise or rich, so you need to see where it is you're going to get that from. Where you're going to get that strength of organization or strength of focus. Where do we get it from? For example, from imitating another person you know, or some understanding you have. But you should see where you get it from, because it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. And if you do not manage to reveal that, you can also create something imaginary. You can dream that there is a balloon that suddenly explodes and many small balloons come down to you and they enter your mind and you become a organized person. Is it possible? Yes, in a dream it is. Does it work? Yes, it works because it's only how we think about it. Meaning, much like a person closes his eyes and says, oh, relaxation. Now I'm more relaxed. When I breathe in words, it puts me in the complete relaxation. I don't have to exert. And then I feel relaxation within me. Nothing happened. You didn't start answering nicer answers. You didn't stop speaking during the lesson. And I was more relaxed. I felt more relaxed when I did that. Even you felt a little bit more relaxed. Because I brought this atmosphere here. And here, when we bring this kind of atmosphere, so I can bring this atmosphere even though nothing happened outside. I don't need anything to happen outside, because what happened outside, I decide how to relate to it. I decide what to feel. All the actions we do are only actions that support the feeling that I want to bring to myself. But the feeling, what I want to think of, this is the most important thing. So I imagine, I need to imagine not only that there's a source that gives it to me like the balloon or anything else, or someone who came and served it to me in my hand, and I drink it and feel that the order expands within me, or that this understanding or this complete health came to me through a special medicine that someone invented in Kuchapula or whatever, and it sent it to me. We need to imagine that we have this thing. Not only that there's a source, but also that there's that the actual thing exists. You have to look at your... זה ניתק. שימו לכו, יצר פה את 5 Not only there's someone who gives, but also that I want this thing, that I feel my desire, and then I have a sense of longing or craving for the thing, not from coercion, but rather by choice. So, exactly. There's the one who gives. I have the actual thing. I feel myself wanting it, and I have a little bit of it. It actually stimulates me to the thing and allows me to choose it. You should go over that a little bit. It's like the four discernments of direct light. Everything is here obviously in short. But when I have all these 5 phases, I know that I'm ready for a dream in a good manner. But you should know that when you're going to a dream, which is a type of internal therapy, you need to prepare it. You need to plan it. There are things that interrupt us in the dream, and we will overcome these disturbances. This is one of the things that interrupt us in a dream. Let's see one more clip, and we'll see the conclusion from this one.
Talking for like at least an hour.
In a dream, your mind functions more quickly, therefore, time seems to feel more slow.
5 minutes in the real world gives you an hour in the dream.
Why don't you see what you can get up to in 5 minutes?
Got the basic layout. Bookstore, cafe, almost everything else.
על תת המודע, אבל אנחנו יכולים
but we can
להכריח אותו להיות נכפף
oblige
למודע,
it to
על
be
ידי שאנחנו מעשירים
coerced or
את חשיבות
controlled
המודע.
by the
גם המודע
consciousness,
בתוך החלום.
but even the conscious within the dream.
שימו לב, עכשיו אנחנו מודעים, אנחנו מדברים, אבל יש לנו דברים
Now
בתוך
we're
המודע
aware, but there are things within our subconscious that are existing right now, and to the extent that this reality is more precise, the less the subconscious can affect me. Therefore, I need to arrange for myself a very precise environment, and the same thing in a dream. Even in the dream, there is a level of conscious that I created for myself through some architecture that I created for myself, through the forces that I created within myself, of the craving for the thing. And when I come to the dream, I come from a place where I have something prepared. So I don't allow things from the subconscious to penetrate me because I'm planned. I'm programmed. When the things appear not according to the plan or to the program, then I need predetermined means, like the signs I mentioned, like a picture. And wait, doesn't he talk?
So
use the fact that I'm in a different reality right now, and because I'm in a different reality, then I can play with a dream with different architecture to bring myself to feel what I want to feel in my subconscious. We don't always remember what we saw, but even if we plan the dream, it affects our soul, much like the soul is affected and gets impression from things we go through. So it's always good to hold our goals the way we programmed the dream, some values that we want to reach. All kind of people dream different things automatically. It's real nice to interpret these things, but here we're speaking of conscious dreaming. Therefore, in the dream we have the ability to feel beyond the laws of the body. Whoever tries it will see that you can actually get it's some sort of a constant toil that you need to do it. I've heard about righteous people who do that in order to attain all sorts of new ways in the path of Hashem. And every time we can invent more and more ideas. How can they do it? Because they use things that are beyond the regular realm. We can do that not only in a dream, but a dream helps a lot. The Holy Ari didn't need a dream. He could actually do that in the actual reality. When we have many disturbances, these disturbances are not a bad thing. If you're very perfected, you know that each disturbance that comes is something you need to solve. But you can't solve everything. It's like if you're conducting some relationship of friendship now, and things come from the past, things that you were afraid of, things that you didn't feel comfortable with, or things you went through with your parents, and they surface now from the past, and you don't want to take care of them. So what do? If within a dream we have disturbances that... So every person needs to prepare for himself familiar objects that warn him from things that he knows. that are known to him.
של דוד שלי תהיה זוגיות מצוינת. על זה אני רוצה לחלום.
I want to dream that my uncle will have a good relationship.
וברגע שאני רוצה לשדר את
And
זה לעולם,
when I want to project this to the world,
אז אני יודע
then I know that things might enter,
כלבים שנובחים.
for example, barking dogs.
אז אני יודע, כל פעם
So I know that each time I see dogs, and I know this is a sign for bad
אז כל פעם כשאני רואה כלבים, אז
relationship. So every time I see dogs, I'll make myself a sign of a picture of a flower. Now, a dog doesn't need a flower, so that means the dog does not belong. So every time I see a dog, I see the flower, so that means the dog is not in the right place, and I move it in the dream. And I move it, why? Because I saw the flowers, so I know for myself too that it's not allowed for me to have a dog in the dream. No.
ממה שבניתי.
Something is different here than what I've built. So I need to create myself signs. It's not easy. So what we mostly use is a very clear or a story, a very clear structure or a story that during awakening I perfect my order or arrangement and I build it again. I rebuild it. If I see a cat, I run away. Every time I see a black cat, I run away. Why? Because I know that a black cat is a bad sign. So I have signs like that I know not to use. It's an interpretation within a dream that I create in advance, and there are signs. Even generally and also particularly. The regular. Do you have a black cat and you dream about him? About it? So I'm answering that there are signs which are general signs for everyone, and there are signs which are for each and every person who knows that he has things from the past that surface. But I'd like you to deal with that less. I'd like you to deal with the structure of the dream and build the story, the narrative, and build all these 5 stages for the dream. We need to study learn how to go to sleep. Next week, we're going to learn how we go to sleep, and we make preparations. A part of all the other preparations we did, we also solve it in a complete manner. I'm just reminding you that next week we do not meet. We aren't meeting. I won't be here. But in 2 weeks we will meet. Final questions. We have 2 or 3 questions if you have final questions. We need to delve into the dream with this structured story. Yes, we need to dive into the dream with this story, and we also need the Kriyat Shema, the calling of Shema, and there are a few other things that we'll learn in the next lesson, how to go to sleep. If you see what? Blood? Yes. It does not take place. Well, it depends where you saw the blood. If you saw it in a vessel, or you saw it thrown on the floor, or spread on the floor. If it's on the floor, it's not a good sign. If it's within a vessel, it is a good sign. If it's on the wound, but it's coagulated, then it's good. It depends. It could be a good sign. So generally, what you were told is not correct. Just so you know. Okay. So in summary, we learned that the control of a dream divides to 5 stages. The first stage is a goal, the second stage is a story, a narrative, the third stage is the persistence, the fourth stage is the surrounding or the environment, and the 5th stage is the craving, the longing, the yearning, the desire. So please repeat that, and you'll also have homework that will be sent to you about the 5 stages, what the 5 stages are, detail them, give an example, and so on.
אני מבקש בבית,
I'm
חוץ
asking,
ממה שכתוב לכם
apart
פה,
from what's written down here,
שכל אחד
that everyone will plan a dream
במייל,
and send
החלום שהוא תכנן.
send his dream plan by
אנחנו
mail.
לא מפרסמים את זה לאף אחד.
Don't be shy. We're not publishing it to anyone. Only I will see some of them.
במייל של קרן.
Oh no, you send it to Karen's mail.
קרן תשלח לכם את המייל,
She'll send you the mail, and
רק קרן ואני נראה את זה.
only Karen and I will see that.
לתכנן אבל חלום.
But plan a dream.
תשבו ותתכננו את החלום, זה ישפיע
The very fact that you will plan the dream will already affect you. Like,